Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dire Roll Endfrost. This is going to be session 2. Fortunately, Bookward has gone Viking, and she's not here this week. And so this will be a combat-heavy session, so I've decided to introduce an NPC and then go ahead and just make him a 5th-level character, so he's on par with these guys. And yeah, so he'll help them out if they get there. I don't know how far we'll go tonight. So if you guys missed last session, I've got a recap for you. But I'm not going to cover all the specifics of the world. So if you want to go see that, it's on the YouTube. But if you want to tune in tonight, I hope that it's pretty much going to be easy enough to jump in. Nothing too outlandish. Suffice to say, it's a Norse-esque kind of setting, and that's pretty much all you need to know. So, last session, Jarl Einar had returned from an expedition with a mortal wound. In fact, he was dead upon arrival, when he suddenly gained life just long enough to say one word, or two, to his son, Fenrir. He said, Endfrost. Those were his last words, and then he passed. There was a funeral. Among the dead was Einar's 2 eldest sons, leaving his line of succession tenuous, but not necessarily in question, because he has other sons, such as Fenrir, to take up the mantle. After the funeral, there was a wake, in which the son of a Thane that also died on the expedition, the boy by the name of Cabian, challenged Fenrir for the title of Jarl, and Fenrir, with some help with his comrades that he probably didn't need, bested him and spared him. So Cabian has sworn to become Thane to whoever becomes Jarl, which will either be Fenrir or perhaps his sister Ylva. But Ylva does not have the support of the people for very specific reasons, actually. Immediately after this duel, the festivities, as they were interrupted by a person from a neighboring nation, the neighboring nation of Floaland. This man was named Ulfr, and he announced that he has seized the castle of Modisbond, that's it. And Fenrir and his compatriots devised a plan to retake the castle. However, Ulfr left a small force, just enough to make it seem like he still had the castle. And then while the combined armies of all the Jarls and the king present for the wake took the castle, he slipped away quietly and took the Iron Hall, which is this massive mead hall, which is the great meeting place of Bjornmar's, this nation. And his plan was to seize more important hostages, such as Sigrun, Einar's widow, and possibly the queen, all who were present in the Iron Hall. Fortunately, the proprietor of the Iron Hall, a woman by the name of Ragnhild, saw him coming and escorted all the dignitaries out of her secret exit. And so he and his troops were barricaded inside the Iron Hall with no hostages. So all that was left to do was kick in the doors of the Iron Hall and crush him. Where we left off, the party has punched through the battle going on in the Iron Hall, and they are now ready to make a strike at Ulfr himself. Oh shit! And the DM is making a mess for himself that he needs to clean before something breaks. Okay. So, players, you guys ready?
Whoa!
Alright, I just need to look up
Yar.
one thing. Because, so, in order to write off Caddy's character, Akulu, we'll just say that she's lending her magical support to the troops. And so we'll go ahead and bring ourselves back to the battle here. I already put you on the Iron Hall. Okay. I just need to put the audience there. Now, if you missed last session, the Iron Hall is made up of about, 100 objects. So it lags a lot. Luckily, this is the last battle in the Iron Hall. and we'll be moving on to a much better one. And I'm gonna catch up on chat real fast. Sko, thanks for the host. And yes, I know it's Francoisian because I butchered the Norwegian accent that I'd been practicing for weeks because I choked. And so now it's a little bit French. Just a smidge French, and that's okay. So.
But that's what makes it memorable.
That's what makes it memorable. Francoisian. Rushing over to Rayleth, muttering some curses and about how she'll live to regret this. She pulls out a potion and pours it down Rayleth's gullet. And Rayleth, I need you to roll 4d4 plus 4 because she just gave you a greater healing potion. Alright, so you are up to 15 and conscious.
Yay!
I'm gonna hurt her a little bit. Let's say she's been through some fighting. And she looks over to Fenrir across the chaos all around them. And she shouts, "Brother, I'm with you. Let's end this."
He doesn't say it. He's in full rage mode. I mean, the spirits of his now dead family swirl around him. So yeah, he's kind of oblivious.
All right. Go ahead and move your guys past these staircases right here that I'm pinging. I know you'll have to find it. And
move it past, okay?
Past that, yeah. On the left of that. And then once we were there. Alright, as you guys charge through the enemy lines, pushing past Flolandic warriors and bugbear mercenaries, Ulfr, with his pet wolf, spots you coming, and he shouts, and his voice carries over the roar of combat. And he says, "No plan survives contact with the enemy. But maybe I'll kill a few of you before I go." And, who hasn't moved? Fenrir. Is it the lag? You want me to move you? Okay.
Considering I've already clicked and dragged myself twice now and I haven't moved.
Oh, good. Alright, let's...
Jacob?
Yes.
In the last fight, I had the Divine Favor up with still 7 turns going. I don't mind losing a few turns for the fact that we moved through the crowd, but I would still like to have it.
So it's at 5 turns now. So perfect. Roll initiative, if you can.
Oh yeah, no, my token is now highlighted, so I can definitely do that. I just...
Alright. Oh, that's right. What happened? I had her stats. That's weird. She has a +2. She got a 9. And the bad guy has a +2. So he got a 17. And his Wolf also has a +2. Got a 10. Okay, the only tie is between player and NPC, so Fenrir, you will get to go first. Zoom out a smidge.
How's that?
You know, just, it might help with the lag. I'm going to clear all the dead bodies. I'm also going to get rid of Akulu. On this thing to render. Alright.
So is moving between 2 tables difficult terrain?
No. Just jumping over a table.
I just noticed I can't move through tables anyways right next to me because there's columns there. So, cool.
Well, the columns you just can't pass, like, directly 45 degrees.
Okay. I'll still go over the table. But so that'll be 10. Oh my god, this is gonna be fun. Even if I use the arrows, it'll move me faster? Yeah, they do. Fuck. So that's 10. Oh, so up there would be 15. No. 15. And 40. And because I'm raging and taking a defensive action wouldn't fit the character.
Actually, you might lose rage, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I will. And I'd have to drop both my shield and my weapon. Cool. This is going to be super dope. All right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. No, why did you go down? I pushed up. So that's 30, 35, and 40. And that ends my turn. I don't lose rage this turn. It's if I don't take damage before the start of my next turn, then I'll lose rage.
Okay.
So, yay!
Well, you'll probably take some damage. Because it's Ulfir's
Here's
turn.
hoping.
Here's hoping that Ulfir pantses you. Alright. Yeah, he's pretty freaking strong. He rushes down to meet Fenrir, and he is going to swing, and he makes 3 attacks. He has a +7 to hit. So first with his battle axe, swish, that is a miss.
A miss.
And then with his hand axe, he gets attacked twice. That's a hit. I believe hand axe is D6, but I'm double checking.
Mm-hmm.
But he has brute, and he's really strong, so it's 2d6 plus 4. Okay.
Awesome.
So take 16 damage.
Well, I'm raging, so that's only 8.
Oh, phew. Alright, and then he swings again, and that's a hit again, and you're going to take an additional 14 damage.
Okay. All right.
How you doing?
Alright, Ingvar, you're up. Go ahead, respond. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Fenrir is now just covered head to toe in blood. Most of it is his own, and I mean there are several serious lacerations and gashes across his body. Like you can see cuts across because he's just wearing clothes. You can see cuts through his jerkins. Like piece of his clothes are missing, and just blood's just pouring off of his hands. He looks pretty banged up. Like if I had to put it on a scale between 1 and 48, he's at a 6.
Seems arbitrary, but you know what? I'll go with it.
Well, I wish I could help you, but I'm out of first level spell. So,
there's no help.
Only Zool.
Okay, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even if I move 6 more. Okay, what's the range right now that I'm at? Can I throw my axe?
Didn't you already throw your one hand? Oh, no, that was the last fight. Never mind. You're good.
Yeah.
I
could with disadvantage, and I don't have my stuff to make it more likely to hit. So, no, I'm gonna move forward since the main guy is occupied anyway. So 3 and 6, so dash. That's it for me.
What is all this crap on my desk, and why is it on my desk? All right, Raylath,
Divine favor -1.
All right. Let's see. If I remember correctly, I hold Q when I do this. Yeah.
You don't have to. It lags less if you don't.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 40 feet. And then Nope, nope, nope. Yeah. Stop it.
Make up your mind. Is it nope, nope, or yeah?
It's Roll20's being stupid with me. And then bonus action. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my last first level slot on a healing word for 5 hit points.
Who was that targeting?
That was you.
Okay.
Myself.
Sure.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry. So that was my bonus action, and then I'll go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right there. And Rayleth is done.
Oh, you dashed?
I dashed. Yeah, sorry.
Copy. Okay. De Wolf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gonna take a bite out of criminal.
Haha.
Get out.
+4 to hit. That's a miss. All right. Alva's turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Neat. Fenrir, you're up again.
Okay, so first things first, as he kind of feels a little bit reinvigorated, he will say, Raelith, kill that wolf. I know you're better than it. And he is going to grant you some inspiration. So take a d6.
Yay.
And then he is going to make a attack against this guy who is not so nice.
I've heard that about him.
I really should just create a I am raging, so... Oh, let me guess. Is Under here asking? Yeah, of course it is. Good show. Good show.
All right, that is not going to penetrate his defenses because he has a lot of con. So you just kind of scratched him.
Cool.
Yeah, that's right, and you're 4th level, so you're a 4th level barbarian, so that's one attack.
It's one and done.
Okay, his turn. He leaps up onto the table. And then he's gonna, as he does, he strikes at Fenrir with his battle axe. Wish. That's gonna be
That
a
hits.
hit. And I think he does 2d8.
Oof.
His foe. It's gonna be 15 damage.
Cool.
And with his offhand, he's gonna swing at Raelith once. It's gonna be a hit. For 9 damage. Then he's gonna come around and hit Fenrir again, or at least try. And hit. For 11. Yeah.
And I'm unconscious.
Right. Ingvar.
Bonus action. I think it's a bonus action. Yes, it is. Bonus action, mass healing word on all my allies. And I believe I can include myself on this. So we all got 7.
Fenrir. Conscious.
But I'm no longer raging.
That's correct. He slapped you out of rage.
Okay,
cool.
Some could say he knocked some sense into you.
Okay, and then I'm gonna move up here, jump on the table, and slam him with my battle axe. And I have my shield out, so it's gonna be my normal battle axe, normal attack.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That's all I can do because I used my bonus.
Alright, Raylath.
Okay, so I'm gonna use cunning action to bonus action well, no, hold on. This is Define a 15-foot cone.
That means the longest part of it is 15, and the distance of it is 15. It's a 15 by 15 triangle. There's a term for that.
So hypothetically, if I step back onto this stairway here and breathe down directly to the...
That would be the area it covers in squares. If you do it on a, perfect 90 degree.
Right, if I... Okay. Yeah, so...
Or you can move, this one like that.
Yes, but if you backed up 5 feet, you would be able to hit those two guys and not hit anyone else.
That's the goal here. So that's exactly what Rayleth is going to do. He is going to
bonus disengage.
Bonus action disengage. Hop up onto here and breath weapon down on the both of them.
Okay.
And as he does so, as he's breathing, he shouts out, "Damn straight I am better than Wolf."
I don't think you can do both of those things.
I'm doing both of those things.
Okay.
So there you go. They have to make a strength save of DC 8 to take half damage.
I don't think it's DC 8.
Sorry, DC 11, 8 damage. I'm mixing things up.
Okay. Don't. Alright. Ulfr has a con save of +7.
But it's a strength save.
He has a strength save of +7.
Okay.
So he succeeded. Barely, actually.
Yep. Jacob
and then
is making rules up at this
the
point.
wolf has a strength save of +1. So the wolf failed. So the wolf is badly injured. And Ulfr is tickled.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming the whole move onto the stairs, move off would be difficult terrain?
Move on would be difficult terrain. Move off would not be.
Okay, so 10 to get on. 15. 20. Yeah, and I'm good there. And Rayleth is done.
Okay. The wolf is going to attack Ingvar. And with pack tactics, he has advantage.
And that's a crit, so I think I'm going to go down.
Alright, so that's 4d4 plus 2. You take 15. I rolled really
well. I'm still standing, but it's not looking good.
I need a strength save.
About that standing part.
Nope, I'm down. Fairly certain.
Yeah, you need an 11 to not fall down. Alright, and give me a concentration check on that there spell. Concentration
I
save.
forgot to roll my extra damage on him. Oh well, too late.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
You'll need it.
I believe it's 1d4. Let me double check that. Should have checked it before rolling, but I roll like that. Divine Favor, yeah, 1d4, so I got a 3. And then Warcaster, I believe, gives me advantage on Constitution. Yeah, it does. So save, advantage.
Constitution? I believe 10 does it. Yeah.
It does?
And it's 10 or half, whichever is higher. So, there you go. Alright, Alva. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She was running around to the opposite side of Ulfr, and
God damn it!
Was that where you wanted to be?
Yeah.
And she is going to attack Ulfr with her spear. Actually, she's gonna run around and then kind of like throw herself into him using a shield bash as her first attack. She gets a +7 to hit. She needs a 9 to hit. Okay. So she does 2d4 plus 4 damage. That's 10 damage to Ulfr, and then Ulfr has to make a strength save, a DC 15, so he needs an 8. Yep, so he's standing, and then she's going to go in with the spear. 2 jabs. She needs 9. Hit. And she's also a brute, so this will do 10 damage to him. And she attacks again. Hit. And this will do 9 damage to him. Okay, Fenrir, you're up. Metaphorically.
Well, I mean, I'm going to spend half my movement to physically get up. And then I have no idea what I'm going to do because what I was going to do just got thrown out the window. Okay, I guess I will. Fenrir will pick himself up, kind of using his longsword to push himself up. Still, like blood coming off of several parts of his body. There's now this big smear of blood on the ground where he just once was. And seeing as this guy has no problems hitting me. Oh, no, I'm going to keep the shield up because I'm going to do something. But yeah, Fenrir will swing his longsword at him, hoping to at least wound him.
Success.
Huzzah. And then, seeing as I made the attack action,
You're going to do a shove.
yeah.
He has a +7 athletics. He will defend with athletics.
Okay, I'm going to try and knock him down, because I think he can knock people down with a shove action.
It's either move 5 feet or knock him prone. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool. So I will also use athletics, obviously, because
keep in mind he goes next. I don't know if knocking him down would be super valuable.
knocking him away wouldn't be super effective either. It's just more of a insult to injury kind of thing.
Got it.
I don't have advantage because I'm no longer Rajin.
All right, I got an 18, so you knocked him down.
Sweet. Seeing him knocked down, he'll say, he'll go to say something and then like just stammer over his own words, just like and then he'll just stop.
All right. He jumps to his feet, and as he does, he twirls his battle axe back to Alva, missing, and then he's going to try to hit her with his hand axe. That's going to be a hit for. He has +4, I believe. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's 14 damage to Alva. And he's going to attack her again. Hitting. For another 8. Alright. Ingvar.
Since we need all the help we can get, I'm going to spend half my movement to stand.
Are you saying like if they didn't need all the help you're going to get, you're just going to flounder there?
Yeah. I'm going to cast Aid on 3 people. Is there a bonus to it?
No,
I could use
just
a
5 hit points.
Yeah, I could do a third spell slot, but I don't have one open. So
yeah.
So it's gonna be me, Fenrir, and Il.
Okay.
You're not in danger right now, Raylet. Get into the melee. I'll give you some HP.
That is a, you're using that in combat as a heal spell? That's pretty oof.
I put mine in temporary.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about max hit points. Just heal yourself for 5 and call it a day.
Okay, sure.
If it matters, we'll remember.
Okay, and I don't have a bonus that I can use. So, yeah, I'm out.
Okay. Raylath.
So, super brief question.
Super brief answer.
You can attack with your offhand 2-weapon fighting as a bonus action if you use the attack action, right? Can I bonus action offhand attack before I use my action to attack? That's the intent. I'm going to be attacking twice. I'm wondering, can I shoot first, then move in to stab?
Hmm.
I believe technically you can interrupt your attack action with other actions.
The only thing is, I think with the 2-weapon fighting, you have to do melee. Like you have to make a melee attack to trigger the offhand. So shooting is the one concern.
Right. Well, I know that with crossbow expert, that's totally the thing. You use the hand crossbow in the offhand, but that's when
Yeah.
you're in melee. So okay,
All right.
that's fine.
Rule of cool. I'll let you shoot first.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot at the wolf with the hand crossbow. If I can find it. There it is.
Just
Boom.
sideways.
Yeah. Got to turn it sideways.
Gonna gack him.
Yep. And that is an 11 to hit.
11 hit is going to the crossbow bolt kind of just jabs it in its hide and doesn't penetrate enough.
You know, he just already said that it misses. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you could have been inspired.
I was holding that for the sword in case it needed it. And then he's gonna step up into here, back into range because he's stupid, and he's gonna, as he charges in, he's gonna yell, or not yell, but say loudly. I think what my friend Fenrir was trying to say is he would add insult to injury, but is not enough wit to add that much insult. And then I will rapier at Ulfir. That's a normal roll.
That did sound a bit weird. I feel you. I feel you, PR.
And I'm rolling inspiration.
Okay.
I can type these things, I promise.
I believe you. Ooh, nice. That's a hit. And you're gonna do the sneak attack, I presume.
Yes.
Okay. He has been stabbed. This guy's covered in little cuts, little stabs, but doesn't seem to be slowing down. And now it's the Wolf's turn. The Wolf is going to attack Raylath with advantage. That's probably going to be a hit, I reckon. And the Wolf does 2d4 plus 2 because... Fuck me. Give me a strength save after taking 7.
Strength?
That's what it says.
Who has strength?
Everyone but you, I reckon?
Yeah, apparently. I got a -1 on this save.
Oof.
No,
and then you're gonna pass.
Right. And then it's Alva's turn. Alva is going to just... she's going to start with the shield bash again. Actually, this guy's really fucking strong, and she can see that about him, so she's going to go for the jabby jabs. So, let's commence jabbing. Jabby. Hit. 18. With that slash, she pierces him right in the abs, and he is now wounded. She's going to jab you again. That is going to be a miss. And jab you one last time for another hit. For a piddly 8, but every bit counts. And then it's going to be Fenrir's turn. For some reason on my app, my activity feed isn't showing the hosts y'all made. That's frustrating.
That's it, Rayla. Do that again, but harder this time. Oh, goddamn, I got to come up with a better accent for this character, so I stopped doing Big Joe. But another bardic inspiration, my last one, is sent towards Rayla. And yeah, then I'm going to just make an attack at this douche canoe that is kind of wrecking us. Well, most of us. My sister aside.
How do you spell canoe?
Canoe. Sorry.
I was right. That's a hit.
For 5 points of slashing.
You got him.
Mission
till he gets
accomplished.
you back.
Okay, and his turn.
Um.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
You wanted to finish your turn?
Yeah. No, I used my bonus action to. Never mind. I can't.
Okay. He's going to swing his battle axe at Alva and hit. Alva, ooh, takes 6. Oh boy, she's gonna die. Just kidding. And then he's gonna kind of spin around with his offhand, which is this hand, but he's gonna attack Fenrir. That is going to be a hit. Fenrir, you take 15, so welcome back to unconsciousness.
Yep.
And he's gonna swing at Ingvar, sorry, for he missed you by 1 actually. So you block it with your shield. Bam.
Good shit.
And then it's your turn.
Well, I don't really have much to help Fenrir back to his feet again, so I'm gonna let him roll 1 hit dice before, or life dice, whatever, before I do anything. So I'm gonna just directly swing at this guy while I still have divine favor. So step 1 with battle axe.
That's a hit.
That's a hit with extra radiance. Bonus action, attack again. I assume that's a hit, so I'm rolling the extra radiance. And that is it for me for this guy.
Alright, Raylath.
Gonna drop my crossbow, pull dagger.
Okay.
In offhand. So I'm gonna poke at Ulfir with the rapier first.
At Ulfir?
At Ulfir.
That hit. He is now badly injured.
Okay. And then I'm gonna offhand the dagger. Hold on, let me see. Can I change? I can't change this right now. Okay, so if I hit, it's -3 damage.
Okay. You hit, and -3 damage will kill it.
Oh. Okay. And
I hope you realize you just killed Mr. Bigglesworth.
Well, he shouldn't have been a ugly, hairless cat of a wolf.
I wouldn't be so cocky. I mean, there's a movie about a guy that lost his dog, and a lot of people regretted it.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna kick it in the head while it's down and dead, and be like, "See, I'm totally stronger than wolf. You should surrender now, because we kill wolves so easily. You're not going to fare so well, my friend." And I'm done.
You know, if you kick them while they're down, it's no longer self-defense. Alva's turn. She's gonna jabby jab. Jabby. Stabby. Whoo! Alright. With that, she kind of just jabs right through his gut and comes out the other end. And he's like, nah! Because he is near death now. And she's gonna jab you again. I think he's, minimum damage, he's dead. And then she kind of like throws her spear up in the air, catches it so the point is coming down, and then just slams it right through his open mouth as he's crying from that first wound. And he's and when she rips it out with a spout of blood, Ulfir is dead. Does anyone have a healing kit?
I tell you to surrender. You don't listen.
Alright, well, Alva's a resourceful woman. She's going to run up and use a healing kit on Fenrir.
Well, I do as well, if needs be.
Actually, Fenrir will have to make 1 death save, but he can't die, so what difference does it make? I guess let's see if you get a nat 20, and he'll stand back up.
Or another nat 1, like my last one.
Right, well, that won't kill you. Luckily.
Yeah, it'll just be hilarious that every death save I've rolled will be a nat. Oh, I better take off the failures here.
What's the condition where you have released in blood?
Yeah. Anemic?
No, anemic means you don't have a lot of iron. Could be the same thing, though. There you go, it's 1 success. And then she healing kits you. Let's get you off this map so that we don't lag no more.
Yay!
Alright. With Ulfir dead, it's not long until the battle is won. You ended with like 20 or so prisoners.
What are their names?
Fuck you. That's the name. There's 20 fuck yous. Anemia is oh yeah, anemic is iron deficiency. Yeah. Oh, hi Simon. Didn't see you there. All right. As the battle comes to an end, and Fenrir, we're just gonna say you get 1 hit point, so you're conscious for this. Oh, and Simon with the sub for 5 months in a row. Thank you, Simon. You are an officer and a gentleman. All right. You guys kind of like filter out of the iron hall to get some fresh air, as all the warriors involved in the battle are, just kind of like decompressing and getting their armor off because they're just taking the load off while they're shepherding the prisoners somewhere. Suddenly, one of the warriors lets out a rather surprised gasp. He says, "The sky!" And he points. And obviously, you all turn your gaze, and you see 3 lights kind of crossing the night sky. One is yellow, one is blue, and one is green. And they look kind of like almost like an aurora borealis. They have that very narrow kind of verticality to them, and they're kind of jagged and veering all together as one, almost like a lightning bolt streaking across the sky, and it shoots from the south, from the pier, shoots over Suderhofen and flies by, and tending to the wounded is the high priest. A high priest whose name is Scarred, and he shouts, "It's a sign! A sign from the gods!"
Since he's not gonna say what kind of sign is it, can I roll religion to try and figure it out?
Well, that's the fun thing about signs. Is they're kind of open for interpretation.
Sure. What do I interpret with?
Go ahead and roll religion and
What do I interpret with 7? As the religious expert, what do I know?
well, you know that lights in the sky in y'all's superstitions is generally a bad thing. Because the northern lights, the more north you see, the more you can see the northern lights, and they're generally associated with the bad things to the north, like Frostvale and beyond, are all very dangerous places. So if you see the northern lights, you're too far north is kind of the gist. And so seeing these lights come from the south, you take it as a bad omen.
AKA that we're in the danger zone?
Yep.
Perfect.
And at that, Fenrir will collapse from his wounds and will fade to black.
How convenient.
Alright, Fenrir. While you're unconscious, you have a powerfully vivid dream. You find yourself on the northern wall of the outer wall of the castle, looking north. And it's daytime, but there's lots of cloud cover. And coming from the north, just kind of rolling like a stone, is this massive snow blizzard kind of just storm coming through, like an avalanche on ground, just consuming the trees as it comes. And you feel the biting cold as the wind is whipping from the north into you. And even though it's a cloudy day and there shouldn't be much in the way of shadows, while you're feeling this, you see this kind of huge bird-shaped shadow pass over you. And in the dream, you're staring straight ahead, and you just kind of see the shadow pass by, and you know the shape of it, even though you don't really see it. And then you go to reach for your sword, and it's not there. And then you turn around, and standing on a city street below you, because actually not on the city street, in the space between the outer wall and the inner wall of the castle, is your father. And he's looking up at you, expectantly, sternly, like you've done something wrong. And
Seen that look a bunch of times before, so that's nothing new.
But also, like, you've seen this look specifically when you forgot to do something, you know? When he told you to do something and you didn't do it, that kind of look. And then you wake up cold because you're covered in sweat and the sheets are damp and wet and cold. And for brevity's sake, Raylath and Ingvar, you guys are there.
The Night King's coming.
Fuck off.
Sorry. I just had to.
We must prepare. Put the cavalry in front of the catapult right behind.
But he wakes up like sitting up, like kind of like in a silent scream, with a. And he just looks around, like very confused, because last thing he remembered was looking up at a light show, and now he's in like his room.
Ingvar will probably just like kind of encourage. He doesn't want to push Fenrir back into the bed, or just like kind of encourage him to lay back down. He's gonna say, "You're wounded. You should take it easy."
Well, I don't think I can anymore. Did I forget to do something?
And we hard cut to his house where the stove is still on and the cabinets catch fire.
Like, did
Ingvar is gonna look like quizzically at Fenrir, and he's gonna say, "Well, I don't know. You would know this. You're on the path to become the Jarl, if that."
Rayos, you want to say that out loud so that people listening and not looking?
Rayleth is just sitting quietly in a corner, mending Fenrir's shirt.
Humming okay,
lightly to
no.
herself.
An imperial tune.
Well, I have just okay. Hypothetically speaking, Ingvar, you're one with them. Is one of them like a giant, I don't know, bird?
Jaken?
Yeah?
I don't remember all the gods by heart. I can either check
Get
or
out.
Can you give me a hand and tell me, is there a god that I know that would be a giant?
Well, the god Ubba is depicted as a winged unicorn. And the dead god Thora is supposed to be a dragon. Dead goddess, I should say.
He mentioned a bird, so I would say Ingvar would say, well, the closest thing I can think of Fenrir is the Pegasus-shaped god, which would have wings similar to a bird.
Okay. Also hypothetical. He wouldn't say hypothetically.
Also, you guys, Fenrir would know Ubba, because Ubba is an important god. He is the one who trains warriors in the Hall of Hides. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I also keep forgetting that I have a 7 intelligence, so I'm trying to play to that.
Sure. So you just keep forgetting. You didn't pay attention.
Yeah. Like, I know the name, I just, Pegasus
Ubba, right,
wings,
yeah.
right, yeah. So, Abba isn't attached to snow, right? Like, I'm not remembering that wrong.
No, he's more akin to storm.
Okay. Like a blizzard?
More like thunderstorms.
Okay, so I had a dream of a mountaintop. Or I was on the castle wall. I was somewhere high. And a wave of snowstorm came at me. And then I saw like a giant bird shadow. And then my father was there looking at me like he normally did. So that means something, yeah?
You forgot one detail. I don't know if you want to bring it up.
What? PR's now curious. What detail did I forget?
Before you saw your father, you reached for your sword, and it wasn't
Sword,
at
and
your
it was
side.
gone.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah, he wouldn't. He's just thinking like in dreams, like sometimes you're naked, you don't have clothes, so whatever.
Either castle wall or mountaintop. I'm going to have to agree. It definitely does sound like you were high.
That may be.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's that's all he's gonna say.
So Ingvar, although he keeps all the gods in his mind for the most part, he always go back to Calder, which is his deity of preference. And he's gonna kind of stroke his beard, and it's gonna be like, well, snowstorm. The only thing I could see would be battle to come, but that doesn't sound quite like what I'm used to, so don't think that's the sign.
Okay.
Especially the bird. The bird doesn't mean much to me. And then, like, he's gonna go into his memory. Jacob, is there any chance that my character would associate what Fenrir is saying to any sort of prophecy or things he might have read in a book or heard from the priests that taught him? No.
No, those specific things. Well, I mean, leaving out his father because that would be specific to him. But like, a blizzard and a bird does not ring any
anything.
bells. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, Ingvar's gonna say, I will consult with the other priests if you will allow me, and I will let you know my findings.
Oh, okay. What happened? How did? Okay. Last thing I remember was looking up at pretty lights in the sky. Then the high priest said it's a sign, and then I wake up here. So what happens?
Jacob, you can fill the gap, but the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell them, well, the lights tends to be a sign of bad omen, meaning that when you see them, you're too far north and there's bad things in the north. However, we should not expect to see those lights so far south, despite being in the north, but so far south. So it might mean that something bad's about to happen all the way down to Suderhofen, but that's pretty much what we know.
Now, these lights looked distinct from the Northern Lights, correct, Jacob?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Vegas, go ahead.
Is generally enough to say. I mean, nothing big happened other than how you say. You saw the sign, and then you opened
Don't you
your
fucking
eyes.
do it!
Not much happened in between.
No, that pretty much sums it up.
Although I cannot decipher your dream just yet, it could be possible that the lights foreseeing, is that the correct word? Foreseeing, foreshadowing a bad omen could be related to the dream you had. Maybe a god or a force is trying to reach through your dreams to tell you about the bad omen that's supposed to happen.
I mean, that's not really possible. I mean,
Angvar.
I know you really believe in the. Oh, sorry, Jagan. I didn't want to cut you off.
I didn't want to cut you off either. Go ahead, finish.
But gods really, they don't really interact with this world, Ingvar. So I don't think it was that. I think I was really drunk, and then I got knocked out a bunch of times. So it's probably just kind of like when you eat right before you go to sleep, and then you have crazy dreams. Probably something like that.
Ingvar, you may not have the folklore to decipher dreams, but the one who taught you does.
Priestess Ragna?
Yes.
Perfect.
Now, in the years since she trained you, she has had a bit of a personal renaissance. In fact, let me go ahead and throw this up for you. You can skim over that. She lives outside the palisade wall. Go ahead and throw up the map for the audience. Ragna, she built a little shrine off to herself where she lives in limited isolation. She's a quasi hermit. She obviously goes to town for supplies and she lives right there, but she is not part of the priest circle of Suderhoffen anymore. She is her own agent.
And at that mention, Ingvar's gonna kind of his eyes would kind of light up a little. And is gonna say, "Oh, I know who could potentially help deciphering this dream if anybody can." However, she has not. Sorry, going to see her might bring bad reputation upon the people that go see them amongst the priesthood, especially High Priest Card. He's not too keen about people that still seek Ragna's advice, Ragna being my mentor. I don't care about Scard, so if you want, I can just go, if you, again, will allow me. Other than that, you can accompany me, it's just that Scard might not see it very well. And I feel you need all the allies you need right now. Once you're Jarl, you can do whatever you want, but right now I think it would be better if we try to keep your reputation intact.
It seems like once I would be Jarl, I really couldn't do anything I want to, as there's a lot of obligations and tasks and duties. My father was always off doing things, and he always had to listen to his advisors and other people. So I don't think that being a Jarl really gives you a lot of freedom. While I do appreciate your concern, if I was also worried about people not liking me, I probably would choose to not hang out, or I don't want to say associate because he wouldn't hang out with the people I do. And he's kind of like slowly just turns towards Raylith.
That's it. I'm done fixing shirt. You have permanent hole now. Deal with it.
The fact that you were able to restore that shirt at all speaks volumes to your skill, Raylith. So I commend.
Ingvar is gonna kind of smile at what you just said, and he's gonna say, "You do keep a rather unique group of friends around you. However, I'm not here to judge. I was
Fucking hope
essentially
not.
Sorry,
And that's what he says.
yeah. Ingvar's gonna say, I was essentially nobody before your father made me the person who I am today, aka a priest with at least some reputation. I do hope. But yeah, if you don't mind, maybe butting head with Scard on the way back, or next time you meet him, you're welcome. I'll show you to my former mentor's current living space, and we can ask her about your dream. She might be able to help more than I do.
I mean, okay. I really don't think it's much more than just a dream. As mentioned, I was pretty drunk starting that night. The fighting really helped kind of sober me up a little, but then getting knocked out in such rapid succession probably isn't good. I'm no healer, so I guess.
Well, on that we agree, but a dream that makes absolutely no sense tends to be just that, a dream that makes absolutely no sense. Yours, the way you explain it, has some sort of logical, like, step by step. It seems to be built on purpose. Each event comes one after the other. It's not just like a random bunch of stuff that happens. So I still think it's worth to go talk to Ragna. Plus, I would look forward to the opportunity to see her again, despite her bad reputation amongst some of us. But
Sure. I don't think I have anything else planned for today, and I could definitely use a brief moment away from Jarl
getting
business.
knocked
So
across the head.
that also. So Raylith, do you care to join us?
Oh no! You say she's not in favor. I have pristine reputation to uphold. Of course, I'm going.
I was concerned about your reputation, actually. So
Nah, yet is how you say the fine.
all right. Just want to make sure. I don't know if you know this, but some people seem to think you're a spy.
I have heard these whispers. I do not. Haters going to hate.
Well, let me just shake it off this pounding headache, and we can go.
I love the imperial idioms that that Raylith espouses.
I mean, anywhere you are going, I'm happy to go too. I made the mistake of deciding to befriend you in first place when I knew you trouble when you walk in.
I find the rumors that Raylet being a spy amusing. To be fair, if I were to choose a spy to infiltrate a kingdom or a jarldom, I would not pick the spy that sticks out like a sword. But people will believe what they
saying my face look like thumb?
Maybe a scaly one.
That's racist.
Raylith, I am certain that for a dragonborn, you are quite handsome. I don't know if that's kind of was that racist? Like, this seems very concerned. Like, he's being racist. Like, was that no? But he's gonna get up and get dressed.
Yeah. I need to, before we go, I need to run back to my shop, pick up a few things. Where we meet?
We're in Modesbond Castle.
Yep.
And the only way out is down by the college.
There are 3 gates. Yeah.
The closest one, to her place, would it be Copper Slope or would it be Bell's District?
Roughly the same distance. Copper Slope is probably the more direct route.
Yeah, Copper Slope seems like the route that they would build.
That's the East Gate, but it is colloquially called the Copper Gate.
Okay, well, we can meet at the Copper Gate and go from there.
It's probably easy. I have to go back to Market District, so Copper Gate closer from there.
Well, perfect.
Okay, I see you there.
No, okay. So as you guys exit, Sigrun comes rushing down the hall, and she gives Fenrir a big hug. And then she, pulls you away and grabs you by the shoulders. She's like, "Are you all right, my son?"
As all right as I can be. Are
Good.
you all right? You're the one that was captured.
She slaps you. She's, "Don't ever scare me like that again. You're gonna be Jarl. No more falling unconscious."
Ingvar in the back. He's still hurt. Be careful.
And of course I'm fine. Ragnhild ensured that I did not get captured, actually.
Was it last night? I don't even know when it was.
You actually
been
slept for 3
unconscious.
months.
Yeah. It's a little blurry. A mix of the drink and the fighting. So I might have gotten some of my facts wrong. Well, it's good that you are safe, Mother. I will try to not be knocked out. I will definitely try.
Well, I've arranged to hold a thing this evening, and you will officially declare yourself Jarl before the king leaves.
Okay. I have something to take care of before that, but I will definitely be.
All right, well, get it done quickly and, find some better clothes.
Yep. That is on my to-do list, actually. And luck, one of my friends is the best tailor in this city. So, gonna go. Bye, Mom, bye. And he's just gonna.
You'll have to introduce me to your friend.
He's
all right. As he kind of like rushes down the hall, she looks at Ingvar and she says, "It's a shame." And she it's almost like she's talking to herself, but she's looking at Ingvar, and then she walks away.
And Ingvar's gonna give a small bow. He doesn't want to interrupt her.
Yeah. All right. So, Raylath, what do you need back at your house?
Less.
Nothing. Just gonna go report my findings to my spy group.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm gonna write in my journal.
So I'm gonna need all of you to get out of my head. One, he's gonna pick up some less ostentatious clothing.
Does he own any?
I assume he makes.
He technically owns everything that's still in the tailor shop. So, yeah. So he's gonna find something that fits.
He's got an unusually full wardrobe.
Yeah. And then also make a brief entry in his journal.
Okay. So you all meet at the Copper Gate. Maybe 2 hours later. It's almost midday.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll take over at this point. And once everybody's, Ingvar is gonna basically lead them out of the gate and then lead them north along the wall. I believe although it's not shown, I believe there's a path between the buildings and the wall, Jake.
Yeah.
Sure. And then we just follow the wall up north to Ragnar's shrine.
Okay.
And just because Ingvar's kind of a talker when nothing happens, he's going to explain that Ragnar was his mentor and the person who taught him essentially all about religion. So, yeah, she's a special person to him, at least. So let's try not to piss her off. He also remembers fondly when she pulled him by the ear because he kept fighting with Rick.
Okay. Is there anything we need to know about her that will help us not offend? Like, does she have a title she wants to be called by? Do we not look her in the eyes? Can she smell fear by looking at you? That kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that last one she does. But I'm not sure if she kept the skills up after she lost her pupil. The only thing I think that would actually anger her would be maybe
Wait,
disrespecting the gods. And that's about.
she has no eye?
Sorry, she has
She has.
no eyes. No, the younglings that she used to teach.
Okay.
Younglings. Sorry.
Were they murdered?
No, they grew up, and he's gonna point at himself.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Alright, as you approach her shrine, this area was deforested as part of building Suderhofen and building the palisade walls and all that. But around her shrine are a group of trees, almost making a little grove. And what's most interesting about this is that each tree is a different species, some of which are not native to this region, for certainly. You've never seen some of these trees before. And they form kind of like, yeah, just little grove around her shrine, which is a small stone circle next to a little hut where she lives. And the hut has a stone chimney with a little bit of smoke coming out of it. And when you arrive through kind of like this winding path between the dense trees that kind of form a thicket, she is tending to some herbs that she's growing on the side of the hut. And she's humming softly. And she doesn't turn to you, but when you enter her kind of clearing, she says, Ingvar! I haven't seen you in a long time.
Don't worry, I kept getting in trouble just as you told me not.
Well, you are Ingvar, so that doesn't surprise me. She stands up and kind of like wipes her hands off, and she turns around and she says, What can I do for you, future Jarl?
Oh, you heard about that. So Einvar here said that you can possibly dreams.
Yes, that is one of my gifts. It's interesting that you came to me. It's well known that you are not the most devout follower of the gods.
I'm trying to change that.
He's not going to succeed.
But before I hear your dream, I'm curious about your other companion. Kind of walks forward, and she's wearing rather makeshift plain clothing. She's wearing a skirt that's covered in like strings of beads and bark and leaves, and her hair is like this kind of like a blonde red, and it's like really matted, and twigs are sticking out of it, and she looks like a wreck everywhere but on her face. Her face is clean and has very meticulously put on paint, very ritualistic kind of paint. And she has tattoos that kind of spiral up both of her arms. And her belly's exposed, and she's wearing, like I said, a very, very makeshift kind of like do-it-yourself top made of hide. She comes up to Rayleth. She puts her hands on her hips and leans forward, and she says, Word around town is you're a spy.
And it's not always a good idea to trust word around town. For example, when people say that you are heretic, I don't believe this. Is clearly lies, and I am not one to believe lies like a simple person.
She gives you a little smile, and she says, I like to think I'm a very good judge of character. And what bothers me is I don't quite know where you stand.
I stand
right there. Standing right there.
I stand next to Fenrir and Ingvar. That's where I stand.
Well, you're certainly interesting. Come on. And she turns around with a wave of her hand, and she heads into her hut.
And Fenrir is going to look at Ingvar and say, I thought you said she wasn't blind.
Just get in the hut, please.
Personally, I like her. She's smart.
Oh, very.
All right, well, just going to follow her and go on in the hut.
All right. The inside of her hut is pretty bare bones. On one end is basically her bedroom, which is like a wardrobe, a chest, and her bed. On the other end is some shelves with all kinds of jars and bowls filled with weird stuff. And in the middle is kind of like a dining area. There's that's up against this. The only thing that's made out of stone is the fireplace, and the rest is all wood. And she's looking at the table, perplexed. And as you guys come in, you see that the table is set for 5 people. And she looks at you and she said, "Shouldn't there be one more of you?"
I thought it wise we not bring 2 spies to your house.
Well, I hope you're hungry, because I made food for 5. And she goes over and she's got this cauldron boiling in the fireplace. And she puts on big heavy leather gloves and she kind of like grabs some bowls and she pours in some stew. She places each of them.
Rayla's gonna chow down.
Ingvar
Also eating.
Much better than dried rations, anyway.
I'm sure it's nothing compared to the castle food, but it is a fresh rabbit.
Do you always make food for 5?
Only when I'm expecting 4 guests.
Oh, well, we won't take up much of your time then. If you got people,
No, you're it.
Fenrir, she expected us. She knew we were coming.
Did you?
I mean, he
How?
is
Ragna is very talented in many ways, some of which still eludes me after years under a tutelage.
I too had a dream last night, Fenrir. And in this dream, I saw 4 figures walking on the sky with the world above them. And I knew they were coming to see me. Only 3 of you showed up. Dreams can be fickle like that. So tell me about your dream.
Well, I was standing. I'm pretty certain it was castle walls. And I was looking out towards the north, so maybe towards your shrine. I can't remember that much.
Well, the castle walls, if you were looking north, would be...
Yeah, it would be a totally different way.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be like this.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were doing something camera. I was like,
does Fenrir think that north is wherever he's looking?
That's pretty self-centered.
Pretty much. And then a giant snowball, but not like a ball. Like if water was on land and made out of snow, that was coming. So I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And I was looking around, and then I shadow bird, or the shadow of a bird that was. Did I tell it was big, Jacob?
Oh yeah, it was real big.
That was really big. It was big shadow and just flew over me. But I was so like looking at this snow wave, and then I turned around and my dad was there, and he was. I mean, he looked kind of normal, but looking at me like he normally did when I forgot something, which is often. And I can't remember if I forgot something. Then I woke up.
Hmm. For the best interpretation, I need to make sure I have all the details. And you had this dream last night, and it's already begun to break down in your mind, or you're just not a very good orator.
A little bit of both.
To be fair, he had a lot of drinks, and he had a very tumultuous night the day before, where he might have went between consciousness and not. So I'm fairly certain he might still recovering. I did, however, ask what his dream was before, just after he woke up, and I can maybe describe it a little bit better. He described it as a snowstorm coming from the north, like a crashing wave, really strong, really sudden. And then through that snowstorm, he saw a giant bird shadow pass over him, essentially as if a giant bird had flown over him, and he only saw the shadow cast over him. And when he turned to his father had a very stern, serious look, as if he had forgotten something, a look he's very familiar with. That's the details that he described to me.
Isn't that what I just said?
In a less eloquent manner. Some details are important when describing a dream.
Wow, most perplexing. I'm afraid I can only give you the most obvious interpretation.
That winter's coming?
Not quite. That would be par for the course. It's autumn. No, what I mean is that it's obvious that you have been given a prophecy of some kind from the gods. You believe in such things, Fenrir? That there is a metaphorical coming storm from the north, and that very thing that you forgot is something that you may need. Were there any clues as to what you may be missing? You remember anything else?
Let's see. I was looking at the wall, and then I saw a bird, and I'm like, gotta attack the bird. Hold on, I'm just gonna roll a quick die real fast here. No, that's pretty much.
Damn it! God damn it, PR.
I mean, how could I fight a storm and a giant bird? I mean, I got a sword.
This is imagery. You know, you're not going to fight the storm as a storm, and the bird. I'm not sure that maybe the bird is a sign. It came upon you before the storm, so perhaps the bird will arrive before the storm. But both speak danger because you wanted to fight the bird.
Yeah, and then I didn't have my sword.
Your sword.
I mean, I have my sword, but I didn't have my sword. But I have it, but I didn't.
Okay. In the dream, you were lacking your sword. A sword can mean many things in a dream. It can be something as simple as the forethought or the will to defend yourself and fight, or it could be information, something you need readily at hand to face something.
Could also be a cigar.
At this point, Ingvar kind of furrows his brow. I don't know how to brow, and
yep.
He's gonna like kind of. You can see he wants to speak, but he's not quite sure, and he's gonna turn to Fenrir and he's gonna say, "Fenrir, I do not remember if it was brought up, but before I say so, you trust Raylet, right?"
Yeah, he He hasn't let me down yet.
What I'm about to say could be used against you. Do you trust Raylat with that information?
Yeah, he hasn't let me down yet. He fixes my clothes. He has saved my life. And then under his breath, hasn't let my father die. And then
Oh, shots fired.
So yeah, I trust him.
And I trust Ragna, so I will speak openly. One details of your dream seems significant with one details of the expedition your father was on.
Oh. But you mean the word that he said to me? Oh, were you there for that word?
Well, I didn't hear it, so I don't know what you're talking about. You're
Does
the
it
only one that
start with
heard it.
N and end with Frost? Was it Endfrost?
No, that
Because
was
that's what
not.
I was told.
In your dream,
When you say Enfrost, Ragna turns sheet white.
does she say anything?
She's gonna let you finish.
Okay, well, Ingvar's gonna say, in your dream, you're missing your sword. When your father came back, he was missing his.
So we're really bad at keeping our swords. Cool. At least I'm like him in some way.
No, I would like to believe that the sword you're missing in your dream might not be the sword that you currently carry. It might be your father's sword, and that might be why he was looking at you sternly.
Ragna gets up really abruptly from her chair and she rushes over to her wall of mismatched and cobbled together oddities, and she starts pulling things down and putting it in her satchel.
Rayleth is gonna see that and try to finish his stew as quickly as possible.
And Ingvar's gonna ask Ragna, what's the matter?
Without looking at you and continuing to look at her ingredients, she says, "Your father said Enfrost, are you sure?"
Yeah, pretty certain.
Are you familiar with the poem of Vulki?
I'm gonna say no.
Are you familiar? I'm gonna say no.
A poem of Loki?
Vulki.
Oh, then no. I don't think so. At least PR doesn't think so.
Wait, so? Are you then familiar with poem of Loki?
Vulki.
No, I understand, but he said other poem first. I'm making sure if he's not familiar with either, why clarify?
She turns around, she takes her bowl of half-eaten stew, and she just like tosses it back in the pot to empty it, and then she starts putting the ingredients in the bowl. And she says, "Only one poem matters right now." Her demeanor is completely changed. Everything is in her way, and you are all interrupting her.
And
Gonna step back still.
Also, it's important to note that Ingvar, who was fighting fiercely in the Iron Hall, is like kind of kind of shrinking in his.
In the poem of Vulki, which some priests believe to be a prophecy, the poem is about the demigod Izramir. He is called the Northern Wind. He is a great enemy, and he is the one who controls the creatures of the north, beyond Frostvale, and including. Some say he is one of Hvitzerk's sons, but everyone evil is said to be Hvitzerk's son, so I don't know how much faith I put in that. But in the poem, it says that when the door is open and Icerimmer steps foot in our world, he will bring the Endfrost. And now I must ask you to leave. I think you have all the answers you need. I must perform a ritual in solitude.
I'm actually more confused than when I got here, but okay.
I trust my my apprentice, my former apprentice, to put the pieces together from here.
Can you just repeat it, Jicken, so I can puzzle it in my mind?
When the gate is open, and Icerimmer steps foot in our realm, he will bring the Endfrost.
Okay.
And then she's just kind of like, she's almost entirely paying attention. She's just shooing you away. All right, and then you guys leave.
Now, if only I knew what the door was, what Icerimmer was, and what the Endfrost was.
All right, actually, Ingvar, you're the last one to leave, and just before you close the door, she shouts after you, "Follow the sword, Ingvar. Follow the sword."
Well, that would mean going back to where the expedition began. I don't want to do that. I lost I lost Steinar like this. I don't want to lose Fenrir. So when we leave Ragnar's shrine and we're either making our way back or just standing outside, right now Ingvar is not really leading the party. He's gonna look concerned, very concerned.
So, Terrail, did any of that make sense to you? Because I am very confused.
Well, she clearly believe everything she say. Does not necessarily mean is true. But with someone of such faith, you always have to be careful, because if is true and you don't pay attention, this ice guy, Ice Mir,
Icerimmer.
yeah, ice guy, Ice-Mir. He he could be a big problem. Because they belief is tricky, because lost people believe things that are completely stupid.
Like you being a spy.
Precisely. But many
let me pause you real quick. Does Raylith believe in the religion of his homeland, or is he just kind of like
110%?
Okay, so he's also like, yeah, some people believe there's more than one god. Idiots.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
Some people believe many stupid things, but in every story, in every bit of information, even if complete fabrication is a thread of the truth. So it's a matter of finding that thread and putting it to your needle and making the tapestry from it. Is makes sense, yes?
So I need to find a tapestry of Izamir. Ice guy.
That not horrible place to start, but may not be final goal. Is good idea to. I don't know how to explain in your words. She may be full of shit, but some of the shit is probably have the kernels of truth corn in it.
Okay.
That's not only very crude, but I disagree. I believe she speaks the truth.
I'm not saying she is full of shit. I say she may be full of shit. Even if you don't believe, There is something there that has to be listened to. You just have to find what to listen to. That's what I try to say. Very
Ingvar,
poorly.
you've been rather quiet, and you know her best. My first question: how did she know we were coming? I mean, she was off about there's supposed to be 4 of us. What?
Maybe
Well,
she is spy.
well, you don't believe in gods. You don't believe that they. You don't believe that they act upon this world, so it would be hard to make you understand that Ragna's power extend beyond what the body of a woman can do. She has done many things that are beyond the imagination of many warriors. Things that I just start to comprehend myself through the powers of
So
Colder.
she's
Yes, that's the easiest way to explain it. And the reason why I've been so quiet, Fenrir, is because before we left her hut, she told me to follow and the only way I know of doing that is by going back to where this all began, where your father went on an expedition.
So we have to follow his sword and not this sword.
Well, I mean, if we were to follow your sword, it would basically be stuck to your pants right here and then, so it would not be a very long fall.
I mean, I'm not against.
Well,
He
I
did
am.
make my pants. They are very.
I am against going back to where your father went. Actually, your father and many brave and very fine warriors. Some of them, pretty much, the lot of them. I'm not gonna be prideful here. The lot of them were stronger, more valiant, and better than even I am. And they did not make it back. I promised.
Yeah.
I sworn loyalty to your father as well as your family to protect your bloodline as well as protect Sudanov for Jarldom, essentially, but first and foremost your family. And I refuse to bring you to the expedition where your father was, simply because whatever happened brought warriors that were beyond what even we are capable of to an early grave, and I'm not about to bring you there. I'm not going to be the one that weakens the bloodline even more.
Okay, so we don't follow the sword.
Well, that's a problem. The prophecy, from what I can gather from the context, Endfrost is definitely not going to be a party. It sounds more like a catastrophe. Based on your dream, it most likely is some kind of eternal snowstorm or something like that. I mean, we've had some harsh winter, but from the name Endfrost, it doesn't sound like it's going to be like just a harsh winter.
I mean, it sounds like we're not going to have winter, where it's going to end the frost.
Or
The frost to
is
end.
the frost that ends all frosts. It has no more frost after that because all frost all time.
Oh,
Yeah. Could be bad.
Fenrir.
yeah.
So I believe we need to train. I believe we need to get ready for the journey. In the current state of things, I'm not willing to go back there.
I see. So we're going to need a montage.
Yes.
Get out.
Oh, okay. How? this how do we train? I mean, I know how we train, but I believe you mean in a fast way. How do we train fast other than a montage?
Well, one thing we could do is go on an adventure. No. One thing we could do is, in order to prepare for the expedition that your father undertook, would be to try and understand a little bit more what your father knew about that expedition. Because one thing that I'm certainly not going to do is go in there blind. I know what resides there. I've seen them. I've fought them, but I don't know what resides beyond where you're.
What resides there?
Yes, good
Also,
clarifying
follow up.
question.
What does reside mean?
The creature that stay or live in where the expedition took.
Why don't you just say live?
Sorry if I'm using words that exist that you do not comprehend.
That's okay. There's a lot of those, so.
Stupid Battle of Hastings ruining the English language.
I never paid attention that often when I was with the tutors. I always had music in my head and songs that I want to sing. So, yeah, there's a lot of words I don't understand. I mean, languages aside.
And hold on if I'm quiet right now, just because you asked about what the creatures that I fought were. I'm just trying to find their name.
Were they as big as a house? Small as a mouse? Could they fit in a bread box?
Well, first, if I can find their name, then I can give you a better idea of what they are.
Oh, right. Unless their name is like
Could not
Big
fight
Man,
them in the rain?
on a plane in Spain.
Okay, so the things we fought were Krutik. And Jake can correct me if I'm wrong, but they stand about shoulder high compared to an average.
Kruthik? No, I don't know. But I can find out.
It all
Okay.
depends on if they're young, adult, or the other one.
Yeah.
Well, they're nightmare fuel. That I
Yep.
can tell you.
PR knows that, but not Fenrir.
I mean, they're size medium, except for the Hive Lord, which is size large.
So they're as big as a wolf.
Okay, so I described them as big as a wolf, essentially. And since it's been a while since he's seen them, he's simply going to describe them as kind of like furred insects, and essentially they're things you see in your nightmares.
I mean, my nightmares are usually just having to do a lot of like reading, but I can I kind of understand that. Furred insects.
Yes, they're hard to describe.
Oh, they
Are they furred?
hard.
Well, they have
No.
kind of hair on their back, on their carapace. Repeat that, Fenrir.
So they're like hard bears or hard wolves.
I would compare them more to wolves. They stand on 4 hind legs, and then they have like 2 arms in front with sight-like appendage, And on their back, there's a carapace where like kind of tendrils or hair or I don't know. I didn't ask. Grow. They look quite ugly. Like first time I saw them, I had a step back, which is not usual. Kind of felt a little bit ashamed first time.
Well, you know what they say. The only good bug is a dead bug.
I'm doing
The
my
more
part.
you know.
Would you
Well, I
like to
mean,
know more?
I would like to know more, but it doesn't sound like they're that scary. But if they took out my brothers and father,
Oh no, these were well, not to say breeze. Like we took some hits going through them. It's afterward. Your father, your brothers, and a few handful of people went through a chamber, which I can only guess that it was a entrance to uh, another world. I don't know how to describe it. All I know is that they were gone, and when they came back, they were cold as ice. Many of them dead. And when I tried everything in my knowledge and everything that I knew to try and keep the ones that were still breathing alive. Your father basically made it to the castle, and I'm glad I managed to allow you to have a last word with him. But to this day, I still feel ashamed that I could not do more. He was clear. His intent was for me to stay out of that room and not accompany him. But to this day, it's one of my biggest regrets. I would have rather been with him. Maybe I could have avoided this fate for him.
well, they say that I never take advice. I know that is going to change. So anything you can, any information, and also went to another world. There's no other worlds. I mean, except for the halls of High, but that's not a world. That's a hall. That's a building. I don't know how we get there, other than death. But uh,
Well, it's an assumption. They were gone from the room. So maybe they got transported somewhere else in this world. Maybe they got transported to another world if such exists. Maybe they got transported to the halls of Hyde. I don't know where they went. All I know is that when they came back, they were frigid as ice, and most of them already dead.
so you think when people leave the room, they go to another world? So does that mean we've gone to another world now?
No, it's that room that's specific. Fenrir, focus. Only that room. That room had a specific function. It was not a room like a house or a castle room. It's not a room like your bedroom. It was a room specifically made for that function.
I mean, I'll see it when I believe it. But we're not going there, right? Or are we? We have to, but yet you don't want to. So I'm very confused as to what we're gonna do.
I would like to learn more about, if we can, about that particular room. Now that I know the way that leads there, I'm hopeful that I can maybe glean some information, especially with you as the Jarl. We might have more doors opening or more pull in terms of being able to gather such information that might not be privy to just anybody's ears. And then, assuming we know more, I guess the next step would be to go and at that point, I don't know, recover your father's sword? If it's even still there, I don't know what happened to it.
Fenrir,
And otherwise,
regarding your father's sword, it is an ancestral sword. It has been passed down through your family of the Jarls of Suderhofen since the first Jarl.
Okay. All right. Well, if we do get the sword, that would really help with me being a Jarl, as it's kind of a family heirloom. I think that's the word. Anyway,
Heirloom.
one of those. And I mean, all the other Jarls have had it. So if I find it, then they'll be like, oh, he found that sword. He must really be the Jarl. And then I think we can really, really stick that. So let's just say the plan as of right now is you want to get information. And
If
he looks
possible.
towards Rayleigh. Informatia. And then sorry, what Dakin just typed somewhere just totally derailed my train of thought. Okay.
Go away. There we go. Sorry.
So we get some information. We then go to where my father and brother. Yes. And then we find the sword. Kill anything that has more than two legs. And then, assuming we don't bring dogs or horses, I mean, we'll play case by case. And then come back. I become Jarl. And then we go stop the Endfrost.
I believe that's what your father was trying to do, but that's just an assumption. Given the fact that he came back icy cold, that could make sense.
So this room, maybe it causes the Endfrost?
I feel need to step in briefly. Again,
I'm way over my head.
maybe all bullshit, but might not be. Specifically, poem she mentioned say when doorway is open and Icemere step through. Maybe this doorway your late father stepped through is that doorway, and that is why he get frozen on other side because Endfrost on other side, and if Icemere stepped through, he bring it with him.
So my father's ice.
No. Okay, is a door to a room, right? You follow. Okay.
I'm with you.
Your father opened the door and say, "Hello, who is there?" And on other side of door, Icemere say, "It is me, Icemere. I am here to bring the Endfrost." And your father say, "That do not sound like a very good idea. I am going to be the stopping you." And he steps through the door to be the stopping Icemere. And Icemere is like, "Ha, it's funny because you are a tiny little mortal man. Here, look, I freeze you and throw you back out." But Icemere cannot come through the door, the gate, whatever it is yet, because something not happened to allow him. So maybe your father find the doorway, the gateway that Icemere is supposed to be stepping through, but he hasn't yet, so he can't bring Endfrost yet.
Okay, so we have to find the door in the. Okay. Okay, so information, sword, find the door and door, stop Endfrost. Sounds easy enough.
Da.
Oh, I was a little concerned at the beginning of this day, but I feel really, really, really confident.
I don't, but that's all right.
Now remember, Fenrir, all this may not actually be happening. You might still be laying in bed with pretty severe brain damage at this point.
So, a dream within a dream.
Is like
spin a top.
Northmanception.
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind, Rayleigh. Just pause for a second, slap himself. Okay, I'm pretty confident it's not a dream. But yeah, information first. So, where do we get information?
Well, I do not believe that your father consulted outside of the castle's library, so
Bold of you to assume the castle has a library.
Yeah.
if it has one. So
Outside of the priests, Northmen are not the most literate folk.
Yeah. Well, okay, in that case, roll back that, retcon that. Ingvar's gonna say we need to find out if your father was going against Endfrost, essentially, and where he got the information, and start there. We need to find his source,
Okay.
and hopefully it was
How?
not a dream.
So how do we find his source?
Did anyone, any other warriors survive? And
Chicken, I do not believe that anybody that was privy to what Einar was actually doing survived. Did they?
From your observation, there were 4 individuals that seemed to know what was going on. That would be Einar, his 2 eldest sons, and Baggy. And all 4 of them went through the crystal and came out dead.
Okay.
But Baggy's son is alive. You
nah,
know, Fenrir beat him in a duel last night.
nah.
Well, your father seemed to have put to the news or to the information your 2 brothers. I don't suppose they would have told you what they were.
That's good. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue, please.
And the other person who seemed to be aware of what was happening was Baggy, the Jarl that
Thane.
the Thane, sorry, that whose son you defeated in a duel.
So
So
he's
we
gonna
could
be
go.
super happy to talk to us.
Oh yeah, no, very happy, and
Well-
that's even assuming his father had loose.
This evening you're going to be named Jarl, and he's already sworn an oath to serve the next Jarl. So I just wait till tomorrow.
Okay. Would it's kind of common knowledge that the only like real resources of books is through the priests.
And they don't really have like tomes. Maybe
Yeah.
they have scrolls. Yeah.
I have a book of prayer.
Yeah. That's probably just a bundle of scrolls. Right? Like they don't have book binding in the north. That's not a thing.
Okay.
And that's why they know nothing.
I could make fortune opening binder.
But no one knows how to read outside of the priesthood, except maybe titles, street signs, basically.
I teach them. I teach them all.
Teach them how to read and then sell them books. Entrepreneur.
Da.
So we can either talk to Caven and hope that he knows. I kind of don't have a follow up to that. I only see the one option, so I guess we gotta talk to.
Well, let's try with Caben first. See what comes out, or what he knows, if he knows anything. Especially after you're a Jarl, because you're gonna get proclaimed Jarl, so he will have to essentially tell you, even if he doesn't want to. Hopefully, he's not the
Okay.
kind that lies all the time. And other than that, you being the Jarl, we could always seek the same advisors that your father had before. and see if they have any information.
Okay. I gotta say, I thought becoming the Jarl would be a lot more, I don't know, drinks and fun. This is becoming a lot of work.
Do you want the honest answer, or do you want a friendly?
I didn't know that was a question, so whatever you see.
The correct answer is both.
The friendly truth.
Okay, well, the friendly truth is there's going to be a lot of work, but hopefully it's going to be fun.
That's something I can get behind.
That is both the truth and the lie.
Yeah.
I have to say I approve of this answer so much.
Well, if Raylith is enjoying the answer, then yeah, let's go with that. Huh? I'm feeling even more confident than earlier. I mean, how hard is it going to be close a door? Doesn't seem that hard. You just close a door and like. All right, so let's go find.
Well,
Caven.
for today, because you're not Jarl yet. For today, I think you deserve a well-needed rest. Keep recovering from the fun you've had yesterday.
What part of that was fun? I mean, other than the drinking, that was nice. But after that, the fun level really, really went down. I mean, there was that stupid wolf fear. Everywhere we went, he wasn't. And then the whole like this getting. There is a lot of really good warriors out there, and I seem to encounter them all the time.
Well, hopefully, we're better warriors and we're at your side.
I mean, if it wasn't for my sister, I think we might have lost that fight.
No. After you go down last time, she start cowering like whiny little girl, and Ingvar and Rayleth, we step up and bang fists on chest, and he surrendered, and then we kill him anyway.
That doesn't quite sound like her.
I mean, I get this too. I was as surprised as everyone else, but I mean, someone had to step up and finish the job, and it clearly was not her. So we had to do for your honor. You were unconscious. How would you know better?
That is true. But I mean, I've fought against her a couple dozen times. She has never cowered. Ever. So
She must have been intimidated by many flippy stabs that I do to him.
that doesn't seem right, but I trust you, so I'm just gonna.
Important.
Yeah.
Suffice to say,
Oh
your
no.
sister is your sister is your sister, and we live with it.
We're having another PR Trust Vegas incorrectly campaign.
As your advisor, you may trust Raylith with the information he just provided you. However,
You
I
lied!
I advise you not to tell your sister about this.
Oh yeah, she'd be far too embarrassed. You bring up, and she probably die of shame. That's how it works with you Northmen. Is too much shame, you immediately die. Right? I'm understanding correctly. That's what it seems like the way y'all talk.
Under his breath, Ingvar says, "I'm not sure she's the one going to die."
All right. Well, still, she came in and helped. I know that because she was stabbing him a lot, and then like she shield bashed him, which is so cool. I've tried to do that. I don't know. I can just knock people prone. I can't like really hurt them. She just like bam, and the blood, and sometimes I think that maybe she should be the one in charge, but at the same time, I'm just like, haha, this is for beating me all the times. Oh, it's Fenrir 1. Oh, I forgot her name. Holy shit. Ilya?
Alva.
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 Alva 110. So I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Is
Just like 50 more wins, and then I'll beat her.
vengeance is vengeance is very good motivator. You keep that mindset and you go far.
It's not vengeance. I just gloat.
Sibling competition.
All right. This scene has gone on a bit too long, so we're gonna cut to that evening. It is sunset, and everyone who can in Suderhofen has gathered around the Thingmoot, which is that big rock in front of the Iron Hall. And there have been some words said, some speeches given, but the climax of the evening is when you stand before the Thingmoot with the king. I forget his name.
It's my last name.
Gunvald. King Gunvald, and he raises your arm in the air, your fist in the air, and he says, "Fenrir, Einar's son, Jarl of Suderhofen." And the crowd, claps and cheers. And one person doesn't cheer and gives a pretty slow clap, and that's one Alva.
Who I'm making sure to keep eye contact with.
How to make friends 101.
All right, and yeah. That night, Ingvar, you have a dream.
Dear Lord.
You're standing
What's in this too?
You're standing in a stone hall, a wide, high stone hall. And at the end of it is this great big wooden door. And you're staring at it, and you feel really nervous, and got a lot of, very anxious, apprehensive. And then you turn to your left, and standing shoulder to shoulder with you is your old friend Einar. And he looks at you, and he says, "Follow the sword." And you look back at the door, and the door creaks open, and as it does, snow and wind bursts out of it and whips over you, and you shield your eyes, and you look behind you, and standing defiantly in the buffeting winds and snow is Calder. And though you can't see his eyes, you know he's staring at you, and he raises his staff and strikes it to the ground, and you wake up. Well before the crow of the cock. And that is where we are going to go to our break. So, we've got another hour and a half of Endfrost to get through after I put the toddler to bed. So we're going to take a 10 to 15 minute break. We should be back no later than 26 after, but we're usually late. So 26 to 30 after, we shall resume with more Endfrost. Thank you guys for tuning in so far. We'll be back. And we're back. Hope y'all didn't go anywhere.
Well, I mean, as long as they came back, I think that's the important part. They can.
As long as you're back, it's okay. All right. I'm boozed up, so let's get going.
Yeah.
So it's the next day. Where do you guys want to begin?
Now we can hunt Cabane. Is that how you pronounce it?
I've been pronouncing it
Cabian.
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 Okay.
Yeah, Cabian.
Okay, well, now we can hunt him down wherever he is in the castle, assuming he didn't leave.
and murder him.
Whoa.
No, and ask him about what he knows.
And then murder
and
him.
Then murder him.
We're not becoming murder hobos.
Well,
He's an
obviously
NPC,
not.
and he's got a stat block.
It's only murder hobo if you don't have anywhere to live. We have a castle.
So you're murder residents?
Murder royalty.
Yeah, but we'll definitely go find Cabe.
Chicken just
Why?
done. Okay, well, we're on the hunt for a Cabian.
Yes, normal royalty. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, Fenrir spends the morning saying goodbye to all of his guests because they're all leaving at first light, and so as the Jarl, he has to be all official. So after that, you guys go look for Cabian, right? He's not hard to find.
C.
Was that a question about him being hard to find? Or
No.
was that
He is not hard to find. He's probably in his hall. He has a small hall in his neck of the woods.
Okay.
Somewhere in the Bridge District. And, yeah, obviously he's not doing anything at the moment. So you guys come into his hall and you sit at his table. And he lets Jarl Fenrir sit at the head of the table, and he sits on the right. And he says, Jarl, welcome to my hall. I was expecting you, especially so soon after the past few days.
Seeing as where we are, let's just say it's water under the bridge district.
And he said, of course. I have sworn an oath on the gods. And he kind of like grabs his amulet. He wears an amulet of an iron bear paw, which is like one of the symbols of Ironside, the patron god of the bear folk, the Barrow folk. Which is your people, Sans, Raylith.
Well, we're actually here to talk to you about your father. Actually, our fathers. Ours, not like theirs, but just ours. What did your father tell you of the quest, task, whatever it was that my father brought him along?
Well, you didn't tell me much. And he had gone on several expeditions with the late Jarl. And every time I tried to ask him about it, he just said to have faith, which was easy for me to accept until he didn't come back alive. I believe they were following some providence.
Does the name Isomer mean anything to you?
Isramer? Oh, there's the poem, and it's one of the dark.
So you're familiar with the poem?
Yeah, Vulki's poem.
Okay. Good. And you say you are a man of faith. I just witnessed your devotion to at least Ironside. So it would be safe to say that you believe in something may not seem possible to others, but is still real.
Of course. My faith in the gods is my driving force in this world. That and the oaths I swear to them, of course.
That's good. There's no better way to say this. I think our fathers did discover some piece or maybe the whole thing of a prophecy. This poem of Vulki. I think it's true, and I think they discovered the doorway.
Kabian thinks for a moment, and then he gets up. He walks over to a chest, and he pulls out a key, and he unlocks it. Takes the padlock
Come
off.
on, my father's sword.
Opens
Come
it.
on,
And he
my
reaches
father's.
in, and he pulls out this small, cloudy gem, maybe 4 inches long, fits in the palm of the hand. And he kind of starts walking back as he looks over it. And he said, I watched my father pore over this crystal for weeks, and whenever he went on an expedition with Jarl Einar, he brought this with him. And when they brought me his body, it was clenched in his shield hand, like he was holding on to it while holding on to his shield, like this. What's interesting is they removed his shield, but he still held this in a death grip. And he puts it in front of you, and he's like, I don't know, maybe that'll help you.
Okay. What was he using?
What do you mean?
When he was pouring over this gem? Was it water, wine?
I love the double face ball.
No, he was just lost in thought with it and always looking at it.
I'm sorry.
It was an obsession of his. In fact, it was right around the time I started seeing him with this gem, this crystal, that your father and mine started having all their private meetings and whatnot. It was right around the time of the second harvest.
Okay. I'm going to reach across and grab the gem. Like, just pick it up, not like, I got this gem.
Yeah, okay.
And then I'm just going to, like, look at it and shake it a little. Like, are you going to react or anything? Like,
Well, it's like I said, it's a very cloudy white crystal, 4 inches long, maybe a half-inch.
Oh, okay. So it's not just.
Yeah, it's not a little thing. It's 4 inches long, maybe a half-inch to an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch wide, and it's crystalline, and it's a cloudy white color.
Okay, well, I'll pick it up and just hold it in my hand.
When you're kind of examining it, you see like traces of a light blue, like inside of it, like you see it in the clouds when it reflects off the light.
Does the cloudiness, does it look like the snowstorm that was?
I mean, yeah, they are of similar white, but it doesn't.
But
it doesn't bear like a resemblance to it. It's just
okay.
Perhaps the same color.
Just,
yeah.
Okay. Ingvar Vralith, have you ever seen anything like this, or does it trigger anything?
May I see the gem closer? I assume you hold it.
Oh
out
yeah,
for
we
me.
can't see each other. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah. I totally forgot
I told
that we
you
can't see.
it was gonna fail.
I held it out.
Okay. When you take it, Ingvar, and you're looking over it, you seem to recall. You didn't really remember it before because it didn't seem significant at the time. But when the warriors disappeared through the crystal formation, it was after Baggy raised his shield arm, and you saw this kind of cloudy white. Now you realize this is a crystal in the palm of his hand, and he raised it out and touched his fist to the crystal formation, and then everyone disappeared.
And Ingvar will take like a few minutes to like examine the crystal as the memory comes back, essentially, of that moment, like the significance of that moment. And he's gonna turn to both Kabin, I'm gonna murder that name all night, and Fenrir, Kabian, and Kabian, and Fenrir, and he's gonna say, I am fairly certain, not absolute certain, but fairly certain that this might be the key that allowed your fathers, as well as Fenrir's brothers, to, let's put it simply, open the gate.
Now, do you mean like an actual key? Like they need this to unlock it? Sometimes it's really hard to tell when you're being, when the words that you say mean what they mean, or when you're trying to be like mean the other things.
Well, okay, well, to put it as simple as I can, I believe that Baggy used this crystal to activate the room or activate the gate. So does it unlock it? Does it allow passage through? I'm not sure. I don't know. But I think it has a key. Sorry, no, I can't use that. It's going to be confusing. It has a very important
Okay, so it is like
object.
a key, let's just say, if the door. Okay, okay. I just want to make sure.
Yep, fair enough.
I didn't know if it was another poor situation.
Kavian kind of like side eyes you as he sips from his mug, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
This is our Jarl. We're all lost.
That's why he has people to advise.
I'm gonna need a lot of mead to advise him.
Okay, so can we borrow this, Kabian?
Of course, my lord. If you need it, take it. I know not what significance it held to my father, other than perhaps what the priest has told you. It will probably help you more than I.
Okay.
I do know.
And he didn't.
I think it's common knowledge, but I know where our fathers went. They sailed to Ogre Rock.
Oh, okay. That. Okay, sorry.
It's probably might behoove to have the map, and I'll go ahead and the audience that map.
Do you happen?
The text is a little wonky, so this is Ogre Rock. The font G's look really jank, so, but it looks pretty.
Do you happen to know where our fathers? Who would our? Do you know who our fathers would have went to talk to get more information? Like, did they know someone that was learned?
Well, the priests.
Did they have a specific priest that they seem to have went to a lot?
I don't know. I mean, the priests that the lords deal with is, of course, Scarred.
All right. Just thought I'd ask. We're trying to potentially finish our father's work, and if it comes up where we figure this out, I want you to be there. Should we go on a quest to close this door?
If that's your wish, I'd rather not have a repeat of our father's mistakes. You seem to be much closer to this than I. But if you want me to be there, I will, of course, obey.
I mean, if you don't want to
Don't get me
help
wrong.
finish,
I want answers as much as you do, but I'm not sure. I don't. He kind of looks down into his ale and he looks back at you and he says, "Just not sure of the wisdom of marching the same path as our fathers when it brought them to such a permanent end."
Ingvar is gonna kind of intervene here, and he's gonna say, "Well, Einar, and to an extent Baggy, but I knew Einar more, listened to my advice every single time I've given him. Every time I've told him to be wary and be careful, he did. Every time I told him to go forth and conquer, he did. When he planned this expedition, the word strongly does not describe how much I tried to convince him not to go, and he would not budge. It was one of the rare times where he defied me, and he defied me in such a convinced manner that I don't think he saw any other possibilities, any other options. So it's not so much as we're trying to follow and finish what your fathers were doing. I think that if we don't, there's going to be some dire consequences.
Again, I will follow you, Jarl, wherever you send me.
I understand that. I also just don't want to force anyone to do something that they don't believe in and could potentially lead to their death. Because you're right. We could be marching towards our own deaths to hopefully the halls of high.
I was hoping for
But
a few more summers before I follow my father, but
I also hope for that for myself and you. I am much too young, much too pretty to face that fate yet. However, to follow up on what Ingvar says, I think we, at least myself and him, and to a lesser extent Raelith, not to diminish anyone else, just says things have happened the last couple of days with the lights in the sky, whatnot, that have led me to believe that perhaps we do have dire roles to play in this.
roll credits. Ding! He says, "My Lord Jarl, are you becoming a believer?"
I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff happening that I can't explain, which is normally a typical day to me. But this seems more than that. This seems different, and my father and your father are some of the wisest men I've known. And I do not believe that they would go on such a fool's errand to fly in the face of advice from advisors if they didn't have a good reason.
He's
Let
nodding.
alone one of my brothers, if they suspect anything was off, would have stepped in. While we were loyal to our father, he raised us to not be fools. It was something that stuck more with them and my sister than me. And also, I guess I'm the only fool out of all my siblings. It's not something I like to admit, but I did not heed his words when he was alive. But the last word he spoke, I feel I have to heed.
Well, I lost 5 men to Ulfir's show, but I think I have enough men to crew my ship, and we can leave whenever you're ready.
All right. This may turn out to be nothing. Maybe it's some fool's errand. But if there's a chance the Endfrost is upon us, I think we owe it to our fathers, our mothers, our families, fellow brethren to do anything in our power to stop it. If we're wrong and there's no Enfrost, then maybe we'll just die as fools. But if we're right and we don't do anything, then how can we ever hope to step foot in the halls of high? This is a lot heavier than I'm normally used to dealing.
Kabian
We're going
stands
to be
up
level with.
and he raises his tankard. You all have your own tankards. He raises it to a toast and he goes, "Skull to fate."
Skull to fate.
And he drinks.
Ditto.
So, shall we take the Vulki or one of your ships?
I will get back to you on that. For now, let's just carry on as we normally do. We're going to, I guess, go see Scald or Scarred.
It's scarred.
Scarred. Scald is the type of bard. And see what our fathers spoke to him about, if anything, or maybe he'll know. Ingvar mentioned that we should get as much information as possible, and seeing as we're dealing with the unknown, I feel that is appropriate. And Ingvar or Rayla, if you disagree, if you do, please let me.
No, I fully agree. We wouldn't have this potential key, or at least this gem that may open the gate, if it hadn't been for Kabian here. Thank you for your help.
Of course. As always, you'll have my sword.
And my bow.
Get out.
And my pants.
All this rings true.
He's
And you are the Lord.
He's I might have a friend who knows a person who is married to someone whose cousin might know a little bit more.
I would like to know more. So
I might need to say borrow this crystal.
Okay.
Maybe not even borrow. Just don't go flashing it around just yet, huh?
Okay, so should we talk to your friend before we go talk to Scarred?
No. We go talk to Scarred. It's fine. I'm just saying I might have more information we can get if my friend whose cousin who is married to the guy
Who might know some? Yep.
Yeah, da.
Yep. All right. Well, Kavian, if something comes about from this, I will let you know, and hopefully we can do our fathers proud. And if not, then just think of it as a young, foolish Jarl still getting used to the position he's in. Good fight, by the way.
Appreciate you saying so. I definitely believe that you are the one to lead us, after the gods saw fit to strike me with blindness for striking you.
Yeah, I gotta say that was one of the things that has kind of started to open up my eyes. God's blinding people on my behalf, and then strange lights. I kind of wish they would have been against all fear, because that would have been nice. But
We won,
I
didn't we?
guess they're. Yeah, I guess I was kind of unconscious for it. I mean, obviously we did because I'm still alive, and we're also alive.
Well,
It was good.
I will get the Vulki ready for sailing on your command, and have my Huskarls ready to go whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, thank you for your hospitality, for your mead, and for your keeping of an oath. There are a lot of people that would have not done that, and it speaks true to your character.
Well, if anyone does not follow their oaths, they should not be Thanes.
I wish it was that simple. And I'm gonna get up and once again, if I had a cape's wish, leave.
Okay, so-
In the just before we go, you come see me. Your shirt maybe let out a little bit.
God damn!
I give you the friend price.
I think he needs to make a wisdom save.
I follow the Jarl.
okay.
And once we're
Same.
back in the street, I'm gonna like just warn the Jarl. Before we go see Scarred, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. But although I follow all the gods, I do have a slight preference for cold. It's just a small preference.
It's a smidgen.
And yes, and Scarred cannot outright do bad things to me because of that, but he does not hold me in the highest esteem. So it is possible he'll be a little bit hostile with us. We will see. I'm just giving you a small one.
It's probably not too much different than walking into places with a known spy. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Or a witch, as she is.
Da.
So, if you would say this, par for the court.
Jarl Fenrir and his band of misfits.
So we'll see how much of a warm welcome we get.
Well, hopefully, he is much beholden to the oaths that he made to his jarl. So that should help. Or he's just going to be a dickbag. Who knows? It'll be fun.
He is very political, so I figure he's gonna play his cards with respect when you're around, but he will use some stingy words. We will see.
Lucky for him, I don't understand most of those words. So let us go.
Yes.
Okay. You find Skjard in the actually he's in front of the thing moot, and a bunch of villagers have brought cows, and he is inspecting them with a whole bunch of other priests.
Oh, this is utterly surprising.
When he sees you approach, he kind of like gestures to one of the priests to like take over for him, and he approaches and he kind of gives a curt little bow, and he says, "Jarl, I'm pleased you have come to me on mid-autumn. Have you come to see how our preparations for the sacrifice are going?"
That is one thing that I am here for, yes.
He turns, he says, "We are looking for the fattest cow in the city to sacrifice to Ironside to show we are prepared for the winter and hopefully gain his favor."
I can direct you to my landlord's wife.
Oh, damn it, you beat me to the joke! Yeah, I was trying to think of that Jarl that came late to the dinner. I was trying to think.
He is my landlord.
But yeah, so we'll just assume that joke there is just like a knowing like.
And he's just kind of like deflated by that, like. Ugh.
Well, hopefully your search turns out. I know it will.
He turns to Raelith and he says, "How about you, outsider? Have you finally accepted the gods?"
Oh, the all gods, very nice people. They watch over me as I ply my wares and da.
He's just like staring at you through squinted eyes. "I see."
Aside from that, Scarred, I have a question to ask you.
Of course.
About the late Carl, my father, Bagger. Did they ever come to you for information pertaining to some of the old legends? Maybe a poem or two?
It's interesting you should mention. I think it was the first week of the second harvest. Your father came to me and asked for me to recite the poem of Vulki, sorry.
Would you indulge me now?
I'm actually afraid I'm not versed in that poem, but one of the other priests is. I'm sure I can find him.
All right, let's do that. So, did you also send them to another priest? If so, could it be that specific one? I need to ask them some questions.
Well, it was over 2 months ago. I think I had him tell me the poem, and then I brought it to the Jarl. Normally, I'm the only. And then he kind of looks. He gives a pointed look at Ingvar. Normally, I'm the only priest who the Jarl speaks
Ingvar
with,
is a
aside
smirk.
from Ingvar here. And I assure you, you would be wise to do the same, my lord. Perhaps without lesser priests.
Well, I mean, I have come to you now, so we'll see. Maybe we can start to build on that. My father trusted Ingvar enough to confide in him and to trust his advice, so I would dishonor my father if I did not do the same thing. However, he also held you in a high regard, so having more advice on subjects is never a bad thing.
You honor me. If I remember the poem, it had something to do with the demigod Isramur. And I believe the accepted interpretation of this poem, which is believed to be a prophecy, is that in the later days of the world, the door between Isimir's realm and ours, the veil between worlds, will be pierced, and he shall bring about some icy doom.
Like a frost to beat all other frosts.
Precisely. I believe another poem references calls it um the winter of all time.
When I know this is months ago, but when you told my father and Bagger this, what would you say was the real?
Your father was in quite a hurry, I remember. Not sure if his reaction bore much. He was very eager to hear it, and when he heard it, he sort of sent me away. I think he got the answer he was looking for, but I am as confused as you are why our late Jarl was so interested in such a obscure poem
Well, there's a
written by a skjald of all, not even by a priest.
That
well
other
even. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Jarl, but that other poem that named it "The Winter of Eternity."
Yes, I think there was a priest who spoke about the winter of all time. It is a common theory that that is how the world will end, in a blanket of frost. Perhaps the poet Vulki um, was inspired by the religious doctrine of the time.
And do either poem talk about how to delay or avoid this?
I mean, you can no better avoid it than you can avoid each year's winter. It is merely how long before it'll arrive. That is, um, that is a question that most priests don't dwell on, because when it happens, it will happen. Ironside, the bear, shall either protect us or fail. That is how it will be. Fate will decide. It is already decided in the hands of fate, and we are merely observers of its whims.
Are we also not servants of these gods, such as Ironside? And would it there then make sense for them to have us act on their behalf? Obviously, such a notion would ring true with a man of faith such as you.
Surely the priesthood serves the gods, but it is not required of the everyday man, or lord in your case, to serve the gods as we do. The best we can do is to the words escape me, my lord, but to ask for their favor at certain times for certain tasks. Like this sacrifice is a show of strength to Ironside, and if it is worthy, he will bless our winter. It is not an act
Oh,
of
I thought.
subservience; it's an act of faith.
Oh, I thought we were. I thought we were feeding him, so he didn't eat us. Oh.
Ah, uh, I'm not sure we have enough cows in the land to slake Ironside's hunger, which is why he travels the world, and sometimes he is absent, and sometimes he is home.
Learning a lot today.
Well, if you had paid attention in all the lessons.
Yep,
And
I hear that a lot.
you speak of serving gods and deities.
The gods, yes.
But if Halfdan appeared before you and said no raids while your village were dying and everybody was starving and needed the raid to survive, would you just sit down and not try? I do believe we need to serve gods and listen to their advice. However, I do not think we should sit idle in the face of things even such as the winter of all.
Well, I do not serve Halfdan. Surely none of us serve Halfdan. He is the enemy. But we must be aware of his signs, so that we may be ready for his treachery. To ignore what we know of Halfdan could lead us unprepared for a goblin incursion, or foul winds when we sail south.
So let's just say that the winter of all time was upon us. Would you suggest that we try to either stop it or maybe push it back to another time, or should we just let it happen?
Well, I've never heard of any method to stop it. If there is one, then it is fate. And if there isn't, we must be ready.
Well, although it comes from a skald, the poem from Vulkit? What's his name
Vulki.
again? Vulki. Says that the winter of all time, or in this case, I believe he calls it the Endfrost, if my memory serves, comes with the coming of Isroder. Isromer. Don't remember his name either. I'm bad with names.
Isromer, yes, the
Yeah.
northern wind, the demigod.
Well, in the poem, again, if my memory serves, he comes through a gateway. A gateway can be closed.
Well, not to translate from a skald's ramblings, but any interpretation, it's not necessarily literal. But I suppose if there was a physical gate that could be physically closed, it would probably serve us to close it.
But there's no mention of such things.
If you follow the poem as I remember it, it is not a matter of whether or not we close it. As soon as it is opened and Isromer steps 1 foot out of his realm, that is when the Endfrost will occur. Again, this is a poem by a skald trying to earn coins at a local mead hall. I'm not sure we should put much stock into it. If you'd like, I can consort the scrolls of the religious texts for a more refined and divinely granted insight into the frost, the Endfrost.
I'll leave that to the Jarl's wishes. However, I would like to point out that a wise man once told me, that even the biggest lie hides a thread of...
That was me! I did that! Well,
So we can't ignore Eskiald words, even if they might be fable.
You have not heard some of the skald songs I've heard then, but I won't argue semantics here.
But it sounded like we closed the door, but we can prevent Isomir from entering.
Perhaps. The skald's poem doesn't have any specifics to that end. It simply states that when the door is open, gate is open, whatever you want to call it, Isramir will step foot in our realm, and that will bring about the final winter.
All right. Also, Scarred. Sometimes the Skalds or Scalds are not to be looked down upon. There was a
I think the word you are looking for is pretentious.
I don't think that's it. I would have to know what that word means. So,
Arrogant? Pig-headed?
no, I just those
Oh,
aren't. What I'm trying to say is
sorry.
that I appreciate the help. There was a time when I wanted to be a Skald.
I meant no offense, my lord. Simply that when discussing matters of the gods, the word of the priests should be valued over the word of the Skjalds.
True, but sometimes it is best to turn to those whose skill lies in words.
Perhaps.
And while priests can be skilled in speaking, they often are very boring. And I mean no offense. There wasn't supposed to be a pause there. I was just trying to collect thoughts. I mean no offense, of course. I'm not trying to say that your sermons, speeches are boring, but not all have the. Not all speak with the same passion that you do. But thank you for your time.
Of course.
I think that is it. If you could look over what the priests have said about this and maybe look for anything about stopping it, preventing it. Issamer has a weakness for, I don't know, laughs. That would be greatly appreciated.
I shall after Mid Autumn festivities, of course. Tomorrow.
Yes.
When I have time.
I did not mean right away. I know how important appeasing. Appeasing, is that the right word there?
Da.
He's looking towards Ingvar.
Appeasing.
Honoring,
Cool.
I prefer.
Honoring.
Placating.
Honoring, okay.
He shoots a daggerous glare at Raylaf.
I know how important that is, as I mean, especially now that I understand that we're not just feeding a magic bear to not eat us. So
The magic space bear.
having him on our side would definitely come in handy. Should, for some odd reason, the winter to end all winters is here.
I hope now that you are the Jarl that you will reacquaint yourselves with my teachings, and perhaps when you have children, you will remember the value of the words of the priests and the events such as these to the gods.
Oh no, I assure you, Scar. I have children. Or when I should say. When I have children, I will certainly have you teach them as you taught me and my brethren. And how old is Scarred before I say this next?
He's probably older than your dad was, so...
Okay, so if
How
I
old
say
are-
and my father...
no, not that much older.
Be like... Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I'll just leave it at me and my brother. And
it would be an honor and a privilege to teach your children. Now all I have to do is find a wife.
isn't that the hard part?
Again, I could introduce you to landlord's wife.
Wait, what?
It's not how it work here?
I just would prefer to not have someone that was just described as the biggest cow. as a wife, I'm not a small man by any means, but
But Jarl, it's
I
not
don't.
the beauty on the outside that
He's,
counts; it's the beauty on the
All
inside.
right. Scarred is like, if you'll excuse me, I must select a cow. He's like, I'm getting out of this conversation.
Yeah.
I will make sure I bring my children for your teachings too. That'd be good, nah.
He looks at you like the idea of you having children kind of frightens him. He's like,
Yes, we also have things that we must tend to. Gods be with you.
and
That's
may
what-
Ironside watch your path.
May Colder guide you on yours.
Yes, colder. And then he's gone.
I got the last word.
From he is watching your path from space, or something of a space bear. I kind of drifted off there. You said he was boring, and I cannot disagree.
As soon as we're far enough away, yeah. Part of the reason I never paid attention to him is he just drones on, and on about Ironside. I mean, when you first hear about it, it's like, oh, like a magic giant bear. That's awesome. But I didn't want you to like do things, sacrifice a random cow. Like, what? I don't get it.
Well, to be fair, it's not random. It's the biggest and fattest.
Yes, but who that cow is random. It's not like you're grooming a cow specifically for it, and like you then make it the fattest that you can be. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go over and be like, I like this cow. It seems to be the fattest. I don't. Do they get compensated?
I'm not gonna drone him like he does, but in theory, some farmers do grow and raise a cow specifically for that purpose, because if their cow's chosen, they might get even more favors from Ironside. But I digress. I do not want to drone you.
Nope, that's all right. But Raylith,
Da,
seeing as we talked to Scarred,
da.
would this be a good time to talk to the person who is with the cousin of a guy who knows? I forget how that went.
Former roommate.
Yes, okay.
I feel like the link change every single time.
Is I mean, is probably okay. I may to approach this one individually. I'm not sure. And that brings up an out of character question about the character. Background features,
Okay.
specifically the one for Rayleth's background, criminal.
Uh-huh.
He has a contact. I'm assuming within the city.
Surely.
Is this something that I could approach with the party in tow, or is it someone that's going to want their anonymity, considering it's the Jarl I'm talking about?
Definitely the latter.
Okay. So is probably best if I speak to this person alone. They are how you say skittish around large men. A bad experience.
Raylet, I do not mean to be insulting or insinuate anything, but the more I listen and the more I know about you, the more the rumors about you being a spy kind of start ringing true.
Well, I mean, I understand this because any outsider in society as close-minded and pig-headed as yours is bound to draw undue attention, and anything that any habits I bring from my homeland, you're all going to see as, oh, burn the witch, he's a heretic, he's a spy. Anything I do is going to come across like that. So I get it. I understand. You are You are not stupid for thinking so. You are just gullible.
That's what a spy would say.
Yeah, Ingvar, stop being so gullible. I trust you. If it's someone that is skittish, I can't. I wish they would be open-minded.
It's
But
work in progress. I consider it a personal project to get them to come out their shell, so to speak.
good. They should know that big guys matter.
Da.
All right, shall we
So-
cut to Rayleth meeting his contact?
Yes.
Okay. In the alley of a busy street near the markets. Actually, probably that one alley right between the markets. No, the one
Okay.
over. The one over.
Okay.
You cut into an alcove, and you're waiting there. And a few minutes later, a cloaked and hooded figure comes in and leans his back up against the corner so his shoulder is facing you. And he says, Raylath, it is a bad time for you to be contacting me. Anyone
Why?
from my ancestry is being watched. Ever since one of the Flolandics may have tried to kill all the... You know. So be quick. I don't want to be seen with you.
I have an item I am looking to not have anymore, preferably for a sum of money. Is
Speak quickly.
is a crystal approximately 1 hand in length, half hand in width, is milky white with streaks of blue, kind of very very much like my coloring. Holds great value to the priests here. I don't know all the details of, but if you could find out more and see if maybe you'll find an interested party to buy, I'd like to know. And of course, you get normal cut.
Religious paraphernalia does not sell well.
Which is why I come to you to find interested buyers. I know you know best buyers, collectors, someone who wants for sentimental value.
It will take time.
Is not rush. I hold on to this as long as needed. Is mean nothing to me, other than profit.
I make no promises.
You never do.
Is that all?
Da.
And then he's gone.
Well, it's good to know that guy's not Russian. I'll show myself.
That was it.
Okay.
That's all. Other than, journaling.
Journal.
I can't tell if you're a spy or a serial killer.
Or both.
Serial killer spy or a
Serial spy killer.
serial killer. Yeah.
I do not know either.
It's going to be a surprise to everybody.
So where do you guys go from here?
Well, at this point, unless we hatch further plans to get more information.
Wow, Hatch because he's a Dragonborn?
I know, right? And I would like to cast a spell.
Okay.
Funny enough, that's the same answer that I got from PR in Discord.
Yes, Elenia, they hatch. They are part of a clutch.
So my question will be: are we prepared enough for the journey ahead, and the journey being going on the same expedition that Einar was doing? And I'm gonna cast this.
Can I cast him?
Augury. Okay, so you're casting the bones. And...
Well, in this case, since it's too colder mostly, but also the other gods can intervene if needs be. For
I was
this,
hoping in the spell description you would put our.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'll modify it. I'll add it later. But it was will was bear, woe was wolf, will and woe was deer, and nothing was either nothing or snow, depending on how you wanted to interpret it or wanted me to.
Okay.
And to describe it to the other characters, Ingvar would excuse himself and simply step out of the city and then do his meditation, which is usually staying like along the castle walls or going close to the woods. Like he's just kind of a walk outside, pure in meditation, away from.
Also, just before you get going home about casting it, you do know that it's you ask about something you're about to do
in the next 30 minutes. Yeah.
So we planning on leaving in the next 30 minutes?
You're right, 30 minutes. I don't think we were planning to leave like today, right?
Right.
Okay, I'll hold on. Ignore
Yeah,
that.
I think the spell you want is divination? Is that the name of the spell? There's one where, or like contact something. Yeah. It's a higher level spell.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not high level enough. Give me experience.
Hey, thanks for the bits.
I mean, you can wait to cast that before we legitimately
just
leave.
before we board the ship. I'll retcon this until we board, like just before we board.
Okay. So what's the plan?
Yes, divination is 4th level.
So now that we've I figure at this point we're back at the castle, kind of enjoying a meal.
Okay.
And
it's probably like lunch.
Oh, okay. I thought it might have taken longer to walk all over the.
Oh yeah, I suppose with Rayoff Media's contact and all that, maybe it's supper. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we seem to have gathered as much information as we can, unless we wait for Scard to get back to us. But what's the plan now? Do we set sail? Do we?
Is good information, but I don't think we find any more here. Your father play cards very close to chest. Maybe only way to know is to actually go and see for ourselves.
Do you think? I wish we had more time, more information. I don't want to lead good men to their deaths when it seems needless.
Well, as it seems as though the actions that brought about their death was was opening the crystal doorway, gate, whatever it was. We don't have to do that. We just go and gather information while there. Maybe not even fight.
Ingvar, did my father have his sword on him when he?
When you what?
You cut out.
Oh, I said, Ingvar, did my father have his sword on him when he returned?
When you return, no.
whatever. And we need the sword, from what everyone's saying. So probably gonna have to go to where they went. So that kind of makes it unlikely that it's just gonna be the go there and see stuff.
It's not necessarily only time we have to go there. Go now, get information, leave, come back, form better plan to go back and take sword back and I guess close gateway or whatever.
Oh, that's so much effort. All right, well, let's just go there and see what we see, and if an opportunity arises where we think maybe maybe we're making a bigger deal out of something that isn't a big, like maybe we're taking these dreams a little too seriously, or yeah, okay. I'm now on board with your idea of just going there and kind of scouting it. Now that I kind of like I talk it through, it does seem like a good idea. I should probably start doing that more often, just talking things through and then sort of just acting on it.
I have a quicker way for you.
No.
Because talking through can take some time. Just listen to everything I say, because everything I say is a good idea.
I mean, you do have good ideas. I think that'd be kind of foolish.
You have multiple advisors.
Yeah.
Where are other advisors? I am Taylor.
You said to follow your advice, thus you're an advisor.
No. Not follow advice. Just if I say something, do the thing because it's good idea. Taylor always right.
We will come back to that.
A wise decision, my liege.
How about that? We'll just
We put the pins in it so that you can get the ham in the right place later.
yes, we will do that.
That's an
We
idiom
will
and it's
make
topical.
with the
Da.
we will make with the pin pudding. So I guess we're in agreement that we will set sail and meet.
You want to leave now?
No, we couldn't leave now if we wanted. We have to be prepared, but I meant as soon as we were able to, we would leave. I mean, we have to talk to Cabian. We have to make sure our supplies are ready. I also want to maybe consult. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm gapping on her name.
Ragna?
Nope.
Ilva?
Molly's character. I don't give a shit about Ilva.
Akulu.
Akulu.
Yep.
Yeah, Akulu Kalei. That's right. I was trying to remember how it ends. I definitely want to speak to about some things before we just set sail. So
It's probably
as was mentioned,
good idea to have Witch with us if we're going to Spooky Gate. Because
yes,
she also spooky, is what I'm saying.
yes, yep, and
Spooky begets spooky.
I cannot disagree to having more manpower.
I mean that's kind of sexist. She's a
or
we're
not
very
assume
progressive
gender
here.
power.
Yeah, we're very progressive here in Sudafir or Sudahoffen.
Yeah, but man means, mankind.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Why does that have to be mankind? Why can't it be people?
It's non-assumed gender kind.
Um,
I personally prefer dragon kind, but semantics.
dragonkind would be, if we could have dragons, that would be amazing. But as far as I know, you're the only dragon-ish thing around.
I think that might be racist.
No, it's okay. It's all you need is the one.
It's not. I didn't make it so that no one else can. But no, having which would be good. Just like having a spy is also really good. You need to do sneaking. So I'm really playing my cards close to my chest. Am I doing that right?
A little less obvious with the finger quotes, but nah.
All right. So I guess tonight let's be merry and get it a good one in. As tomorrow we'll probably be leaving. As Kavian said that he was going to be getting things set up, and yeah, let's get drunk tonight because probably going to be a lot of bad times.
All right. In a sequence of events that Ingvar finds all too familiar. Before first light, with Akulu and Kabian and you guys, you load up his ship, the Golvu, the Volku, a complicated name. It's late and I've had a beer. The Vukli. I'd have to look it up.
The ship.
The Kabuki.
The Kabuki. You guys load it up, and just as the sun begins to rise, you guys set sail towards the Isle of Ogre Rock. In the exact same manner as Einar, Baggy, and Einar's sons, not a few weeks before. Actually, probably like a week before. And that's going to be a good place to end the session, especially since we want to get Kulu's input on it. We got the impetus going.
I just add one thing to that scene.
Sure. Just
as like the city is just starting to fade away, you just hear from the. So, how long is this trip gonna? That's
all right. So, setting off in the exact same manner on the exact same destination as their fathers, Jarl, Fenrir, and Thane Kabian are heading to Ogre Rock to go to the place where their fathers met their end. And we're going to end this session. It's a little early, but, last week we went a little late, so it balances out. And hopefully next week we'll have the full cast back, and we will hit this head on, and it'll be great. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to the new regulars that we've gotten, and for the subs. That was really awesome. So, yeah, it was all around a good night. We hope to see everybody next week. And we'll have more Dire Roll Endfrost. Do you guys want to do your things this week, or do you want to skip?
I'm good
all
with
right.
that.
You want to do it, or do you want to skip, Pierre?
I'll do it.
Okay, so Pierre will lead us out with a shout out here.
First of all, let me just say thank you to everyone who tuned in, supported us. If you like this game, and me specifically, I mean the other people, if you like the Jarl, you can check me out on the Twitters. I'm at Fizzoroboto. Stuff about games, D&D mostly, both of my in-person games as well as just general kind of like hilarity. A lot of it is me trolling my own players with stuff because I like to do that. And you can also check me out on Instagram. I'm at PR the Airsoft Guy, where you get to learn a little bit more about my nerdiness other than RPG games. Cooking, which I do as a side job, and also airsoft. Thus the name. But the rest of the guys are great too. You should check them out on whatever social media they have. But it's all about me.
All right. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good week. Have a good night. And that's it.
Bye, guys.